Whoo-wee! Good to be back. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Real quick before we jump into the hunt, this is going to start off where we left off last year. I think it was the Thanksgiving hunt with the family is where we're pretty much leaving off at. We're going to be starting back up here, deer season 2022 of December, 1st of December, I believe, 16th or 17th. I'm not real sure. It'll say it in the video. And then we have 5 more hunts after this one. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Appreciate y'all coming back and hanging out with us. Hope y'all enjoy. So in this episode, you're going to see a buck that we called Propane. He's an old, mature, what we would call management buck. His genetics were just not what we were looking for on this property, so he was definitely a targeted buck for us. Really, to tell this story, we need to go back. We need to go all the way back to the summer of 2022. Me and Brandon set out with this goal in mind that we wanted to create an exceptional deer hunting spot, not just for ourselves, but more importantly for our family, for our children. So I had this idea of creating a central hub location in this particular area on the hunting lease that I was going to call Newfield. And basically it was going to be a central hub that was food source that was in the central location of bedding, doe bed family groups everywhere. We knew they were there. We knew that the does just lived very, very close. So we went in and started doing the work on the Bobcat, clearing some land, and we actually did several locations, clearing out some new spots for feeding and green fields and whatnot. But this one in particular was kind of my idea. It was something that I felt really strong that, hey, I think we can just put a small plot right here, put us some feed, put us some blocks and stuff out. I think the blocks that we were using are the Trophy Rack blueberry flavor, and man, they, for whatever reason, love it. This location I felt was going to be successful. It had a watering hole, and it's just like I say, it was a central hub. Water source, food, bedding, everything that you could want. 22 for us was a very, very dry year, so we didn't get planted till a little bit later. This field didn't, or any of our fields didn't get planted till a little bit later in the season than what we had liked, but it turned out to be really, really productive for us. Right after we cleared this new field, we had a mature buck come through at like 11 o'clock, and this is in the middle of the summer. So which was kind of like, okay, he's not far. He's not living far at all, because in the dead heat of summer, a mature buck like that, he's just not going to travel too far from where he's living. And then very early on, in bow season, we had another mature buck show up. Really good buck. He looks probably 3 years old or so, but has really, really good genetics for this area. And so as we progress, we start seeing more and more that this central hub location, man, it starts producing a lot of daytime bucks. So going into this, we had several targeted bucks, Big Tex being one of them, big wide. He reminded me of the bucks that you see out in Texas. They're just really, really wide, so we named him Big Tex. And we had several other bucks that I don't think we ever really named because we don't have much history with this property. This is our first year on the lease, so you have to remember that. The whole idea behind making this habitat what it was, and it becoming productive as it was kind of a big deal for us. So this spot in particular never really had the best wind, but it always had a doable wind. Where we hunt, there's hills, hollers, it's thick pine thickets, so the wind is not a consistent thing. It swirls. So where this field was located was pretty much in a bowl, and the wind would come down off of a ridge and would come and swirl down the road. So I always had what I remember to be a northeast wind for the most part. So the kicker is that you could never really hunt on the field. So bow hunting was not really much of an option. We knew they were living there. We didn't want to go in and put our scent everywhere. But when we were there, taking feed and stuff like that, when we leave our scent, we like to leave, a positive thing for the deer, so that they're relating our scent with something positive. So that's the mindset that we have, and the way that we hunt certain areas going in. Even if we're checking a camera or leaving feed, obviously they're going to smell that we were there, but we're leaving something positive like some feed. Propane started showing up more and more often on camera, so it was kind of one of those things to where you just know you got to get in there and you got to sit down and sit all day and just be there. So with propane showing up more consistently on camera, and Big Tex showed up the 18th, provoked some all-day sits. I remember seeing Big Tex on camera the morning of the 18th and just thought, holy smokes, and just knew this was the time of year that you just couldn't miss a day. So I started some all-day sits from that day forward, and you'll see that it really starts getting to me.
Too many hours in the deer stand make you go crazy.
The deer moved in the early morning hours, the morning of the 22nd. Don't really remember it being that cold that morning, but there was about to be a huge temperature drop, some of the coldest weather that I'd ever known in Alabama, and the time just felt right to be in the stand all day long. I did a lot of calling that morning, grunting, rattling, and an occasional snort wheeze. About 11 o'clock, I had a little guy come in and grab a bite to eat, but not a whole lot stirred the rest of the day on the entire property.
Freaking 11 o'clock. Deer started moving again.
For 3 days, really, there was very little deer movement. When we had initially thought that this was the prime time to be there, so little let down and confused, I guess I would say. At this point, I had felt it was just another close of the day routine right here at dark.
Day 6 is coming to an end. About 45 minutes of shooting light left. There's a deer.
I remember getting really excited when what I thought was a little doe popped out right here at dark. And then it happened very quick.
Looks like that doe again. Be nice you drag some in here. this is how day 6 ends. I think I missed. I say you're all.
I had felt the shot was a little rushed, mainly because I thought he was going to continue to cross the lane and go back into the woods, and I wouldn't have a shot. Immediately, I called Brandon. He was hunting up on Highfield that day, which is about 600 yards on the other side of Bedding from me.
I'm pretty sure it's propane. No. He ran back in the way he came out, back up on the right side of the lane. He did a big jump leaving the field. Dude, I hope I didn't miss him.
And in that moment, I just knew I had missed that buck. I was disappointed, tired, and very frustrated with myself. Not because this was some giant rack buck, but because of the time, the effort, the all-day sits, everything that went into planning this and it unfolding the way that it did, and making this spot that safe haven for these bucks to come out to feed in daylight. And I felt that I had just blew it.
120 yards away. I may have hit him a little far back, but I'm pretty sure it's propane. Big old body deer. Okay, I'm gonna back up and ease down and see if I hit him or not. See if I see any kind of blood, and I'll just hang out right here.
I was anxious, just to get down and go over to the where I'd felt like I had shot him and just see if there was any blood or any hair, any sign of a hit in the field.
I'm freaking shook up. I gotta go see if I hit him or not. The footage don't look like he bucked at all. But I know I had it on him. It did feel like the shot was rushed. We about to find out.
Looks like a clampus. As long as we could see it. It's after that. Right there. The camera just shakes when you shoot.
Mm-hmm.
That sucker leaped. That's
a big old jump.
If the camera wouldn't have shook, it looks like one drills him right behind the dead gum shoulder.
Trying to look for dirt or anything flying up.
He doesn't flinch his leg or anything, does he?
Mm-mm.
I mean, just see how he runs off. Like he just
Yeah, my thing is it's a delayed reaction. There's like a half a second. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you hit him, as soon as you hear the boom, he's flinching.
Right. I mean, immediately I said, I think I missed.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's one of the first things you told me, you know.
I feel like we'll see him in a few days on camera.
We're gonna give it a valiant effort anyway. See what happens. I do feel like I missed him. Just from his reaction. But some of the guys seem to think I hit him high in the lung. There's absolutely no blood anywhere. No blood anywhere. Man. I don't believe in that happened, but hey. My hope is that it's a clean mess. And that's what it appears to be. I don't know. We've watched footage time and time again.
We searched for this buck for a little over an hour, I would say, and we didn't find anything. So we backed out, made a plan to come back in the daylight hours to see, you know, if we had missed something or anything like that. And we still found nothing. So we decided collectively that we need to shoot the gun for verification to see if it was me or if the gun was off. The very next afternoon, we ended up seeing Propane, same place, same time, on camera, and continued to see him in different locations for the next couple days. It was definitely a relief to see Propane happy and healthy, you know, on his feet, knowing that this was definitely a clean miss. A lot of lessons learned in this situation. Some hard lessons learned in this situation. But this is the story of Payne. If you're still watching, here's why this is so important to us to tell this story. Because the goal of this property was to get mature bucks on their feet in daylight and hopefully have an opportunity to harvest one. A mature buck is a mature buck, no matter how big his rack is. Mature bucks are smart and they're hard to kill. To get a mature buck in front of you where we live is a huge deal. This isn't Iowa. This isn't Kansas. This is a dog hunting redneck county of Alabama, where if it's brown, it's down mentality. For bucks to live to a mature age is a big deal in this area. So finding a mature buck in the thick pines of Alabama is like finding a needle in a haystack. These mature bucks know every hiding spot in their area, and if they don't want to be seen, they won't.
Harmony Game Calls, custom handmade game calls. You can find us on the web at www.harmonygamecalls.com.